Welcome back to the most chilled out DF Retro play you could imagine. Today, we're playing Flipnic Ultimate Pinball for the PlayStation 2. As you can see, we're off to a wonderful start. Do you have small luck, Audis, early?
I indeed have small luck. And how are you, my dear friend, today?
I'm wonderful because, well, we're playing this. This madness right here, Flipnic. This is one of the most underrated games on PlayStation 2, I believe. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but my goodness, I love this game. It is such a phenomenal thing, and I feel like we need to talk and play it today.
Yeah, we picked this game for a specific reason, and I'm guessing that a lot of people watching this will have the same kind of discovery as I had, because I had not played this game before you told me about it. It was last fall, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the last time you were here. You had just received, you had sent to my mailbox a copy of Pinball for the Philips CDI, which is one of the worst pinball games on the planet.
Yes.
Hilarious, actually. And we were jokingly talking about pinball games at that point. Obviously, the Naxat pinball games came up. But then I was like, hey, what about Flipnic? You remember that one? And you were like, no.
Yes, and usually if people mention a game that I have not heard of, it tends to be quite obscure. I will say that I'm not the biggest pinball guy.
Sure.
So it's not like the genre I have the most experience with, but I've always enjoyed video pinball, even more so than the actual pinball.
Same.
But I have to say that when we played this the first time, I had a transformative, a personal, and emotional trip.
Almost a religious experience, if you will.
Yes, it was one of the most magical video game experiences I've ever had. It's one of those moments where, you know, like the first time I played Another World, or the first time I played Metal Gear Solid 2.
And I think it started right here, actually.
Yeah, it certainly did. So...
Drop of silver approaches the stage.
Yeah, so I feel like that was the moment, right? That's the moment where you're like, wait a minute, what is this?
That was indeed the moment, because it is strangely evocative. It is strangely kind of reflective and beautiful. I had never seen a pinball game that had made me think so much about life in the first 10 seconds of the game. But Flipnic made me enjoy life.
Yes, exactly.
And
so I guess...
I go ahead.
No, I just, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about where this craziness came from.
Sure.
Look at this. Have a fantastic time, Audi. And that is what the developers intended, I believe. Because this is the creation of Sony Computer Entertainment Japan.
Yes.
So this is a first-party Sony-developed game. When we talk about the kind of creativity that they used to have on display back in the day, this is the type of experience I think most people are talking about. Yeah. Maybe not specifically Flipnic, but some of the people that worked on this game had been contributed to titles such as Ape Escape. They'd worked on Fantavision, other games like this that sort of I guess defined the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 era. Yeah. It's just like these really unique, enjoyable experiences that sort of they take a well-known genre. Like Ape Escape was like, all right, here's a platformer. We're going to combine it with the dual analog and this gadget stuff to make something really unique and new. And with Flipnic, they're like, well, let's take the concept of video game pinball and do something new.
Yeah, I think Sony Computer Entertainment, like their studio, you used the word experience, and I think that was kind of what set them apart a lot. Was I feel like every game that they did was like this trip and experience. We could say that about, for example, Mario games and things like that. But
sure,
there's a sense of, let's say, sensory satisfaction with their games. Like, I think it's the use of color and sound. Like, it feels like they very much target kind of triggers, like sensory triggers, like bright colors.
Exactly.
I think, in this game, you mentioned Fantavision, for example, which was a very early game on the PS2. Like, wasn't that?
It was a launch game in Japan. Actually, it was one of the first games on the system.
I'm sure there will be an episode of the Retro where Fantavision shows up then. Yeah, like that's another one where it's just like the game concept itself is simple and it's not necessarily groundbreaking, but it's the way it uses that simplicity to trigger you and get reactions out of you. And I've always been really interested in that kind of game. You know, I mentioned Another World, and that's another one where it's like the minimalism and that kind of like experience creates emotional reaction in it. And this game is full of emotion and full of reaction. And
it sounds so weird to say that about a pinball game, though, doesn't it?
It really does, doesn't it? Like, but you have to go beyond anything.
I think an analog to this, I think, in its own way, it recalls some of the work that Mizuguchi has done with like Rez, Luminous, and obviously Tetris Effect most recently, where it takes like a very simple concept and it marries it with this really fascinating presentation and like sound design.
Right.
And this is less based on like trance culture and like that kind of stuff, and more just based on like I don't even know, what would you describe this as, because it's really like fantastical and fascinating.
Well, I think this game, it's kind of like a combination of ASMR. Like, it's a lot of sounds, and the sounds are mixed in a way that it's a very comfortable game to just be around. And then there's also all these like reactionary triggers. There's a lot of small satisfactions in this game, you know, especially because we haven't really talked about the gameplay much, because it's quite extensive for a pinball game, but there's all these small missions, right? And they're quick, they come lightning fast at you, but as you complete them, you're very satisfied. I think it's like all these simple joys that come very quickly at you in this game that makes it very different from any other pinball game. I mean, this is beyond any other pinball game you've ever played.
We're using a lot of words to say, like, it almost sounds indescribable, but in reality, it is actually fairly straightforward in terms of what you're doing. It's just that it varies so drastically between tables. So obviously, I'm trying my best through the input latency to play this first stage. And you've probably noticed I've been moving between these different areas. And in each area, there's sort of like a little mission. Like, you could hear the guy talking right now when you enter this room. You have to hit this tree enough times to trigger multi-ball play. And the tree itself has pinballs suspended in the leaves. So that's kind of the way they I'm trying my best. I can't. It's just it's really hard, dude.
Oh yeah, with because pinball, I mean, it's all about immediate reaction. You kind of need like lag is not an advantage.
And this is the problem here for this mission. If you don't start multi-ball play, you get abducted.
Yes, and put somewhere else on the stage.
Then drops you back here.
Because you know, this game of pinball, so to speak, is very it's ever evolving, and the boards are ever evolving. Congratulations. But yeah, so as you complete these missions, the board will change dynamically and introduce new areas and even brand new concepts, which I think the waterfall here is a prime example of that.
Yeah, which I haven't unlocked yet, but later on. Essentially, I would like to unlock it, but I'm not sure if I'll succeed. But at a certain point, when you've completed the correct missions, it freezes over. It's like literally the jungle freezes over. And and the waterfall freezes as a result. And now suddenly you can actually shoot the pinball up the waterfall. But it has the physics applied to it of gravity and everything. So it just getting the ball up to the top there is extremely difficult.
Yes. Because so as you mentioned, the physics don't change, and the physics are first of all superb in this game. The ball physics are incredibly, I guess, accurate is the word.
Oh, it's really hard on here, dude. This is trying to play this through the capture system. I'm struggling.
Were you good at pinball in real life, though?
Well, I'm okay. I am not a
I'm
pro
not
at
good.
pinball by any means. I enjoy it, but
Yeah, I mean, I used to play. I have memories of pinball a lot. Like in my town, we had the Street Fighter 2 pinball board, which has like that weird Chun-Li on it. And
no.
I also played a lot of Last Action Hero and Indiana Jones and Ninja Turtles and the WWF Royal Rumble board we had in town when I was a kid as well.
There's an awesome pinball museum near here in Germany.
Yeah, I
where
really
they
want
have
to go.
a basement full of arcade machines from like all different eras, like upwards of 100 machines. They have the Demolition Man one with the pistol triggers
Right.
as your pinball control mechanism. They have the Jurassic Park one where the T-Rex
With the
emerges
head.
through the floor and shakes the whole table, like stuff like that. I love it. It's wild, and that's, to me, this is like trying to take this game takes that concept and tries to do something that you could only do in a video game. With
Yeah,
these
video
structures that are
pinball.
stretching all over the place. Oh, here's a mini game.
Hungry Monkey. So I love these transparent videos, encoded at 60 frames per second, right?
Yep,
And
they are.
Yeah, it has this weird kind of like Tim and Eric type feeling to them. Just really abstract and
Yeah, you're right.
Weird, but somehow also so fitting. It all goes into this kind of like, I mentioned ASMR and whatnot. It's all these satisfying sounds and colors, and just they really nailed the feel of this game. And we were only on this board. I mean, there are 5 boards.
We'll check out the other boards after this,
Yeah.
because they are. That's the thing about each board in this, is that each one is extremely different from the previous one.
Right.
They all follow. Well, they mostly follow the same kind of basic rule set, but the layouts and the way it works varies a lot.
Yeah, it's so cool to see, because you were making the point of like this goes kind of beyond what you can do in a real pinball table.
That's right.
But at the same time, it still has the fundamentals of pinball very much nailed down. It doesn't feel... I mean, it's over the top in the sense that everything that happens on this board is not realistic, but it feels within its own logic. It feels natural.
Physicalized almost, like it feels like you're manipulating an object in this weird
Exactly.
3D space.
So it's very impressive because the design goes so far, especially on the eventual boards. It just goes, beyond anything you could even attempt to do in real life. But
So right now, I think so we can actually look at the stage status, and this is interesting. So this essentially tells you what you need to do in the stage. Like, I've completed the Bumper Village, but these red missions, these are the ones that are critical for completing the stage, and then the ones in yellow are all like optional side missions. I know the idea of a side mission in a pinball game, that's bizarre, but it's there and it works. But right now I am focused on the mission where I'm trying to, I guess, unlock multi-ball play from that tree and deal with whatever's happening in the UFO area.
right. So, I mean, since discovering this game with you, I've been very curious about it, but very little information exists.
That's the problem, right? Like, we were able to look up at least some of the people that worked on the game, but there's
Yeah.
there's just so little info on this out here. I mean, I've looked in both English and Japanese forums,
Same,
and I just can't
yeah.
find much. It's really not a well-known, discussed game, so it feels like it's flown under the radar, which I guess, to be fair, we've talked about this before, but this came out at the very end of the PlayStation 2's life,
Right.
at a time when perhaps it would have made more sense to wait and release it on PlayStation 3.
Yes, I mean, that's certainly a point. There's so many factors into this, but I mean, for one, so yeah, you said late.
Oh, I can't do
think
that.
it is 2006, correct?
I think it's 05 actually. But
Is it
it's-
05?
Yeah, I think it's
well,
05.
it's at the cusp of like PS3 being announced at the very least. And
I think, yeah, exactly.
and not only that, but I mean, we looked into the regional releases of this, because I think you have the US version
Correct.
that you're playing, and that was published by Capcom.
It was, yeah.
In Europe, it was published by Ubisoft, and then in Japan, it was Sony themselves that published it, I believe. But
Yeah.
just that alone would tell me that, like, the publishing situation for it must have been a bit difficult, or just kind of I don't know how well it was marketed when it's between 3 companies like that.
Exactly. And I suspect it doesn't seem like Sony had too much interest in bringing this title to the West at that time. They were
No.
focused on more cinematic stuff and bigger games, maybe. I mean, I guess it wasn't the era of like their cinematic titles yet, but this may
It
not
was
have
coming,
fit
though.
in with what they were trying to do.
Yeah, so mentioning
Yeah,
the PS3, I think this would have been an incredible launch digital title for their PSN store on the PS3.
Yeah, I agree. Oh
And,
my god, I can't do that part. I cannot get those stupid butterflies on the bumpers.
Well, you have like half a second delay with this setup, right?
I haven't actually measured it, but it's like playing on a TV from like 2006 with motion smoothing turned on in terms of latency, where it is technically playable, but everything just feels kind of slow.
Right, and that would, I guess that's era accurate for this game, as most people maybe would have played it that way.
Well, I mean,
But-
this was clearly designed for CRT play, and that's where
Yes.
it does best. So I keep trying this here.
Also notice that you have like a jump feature at certain camera angles.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can jump the ball when you're on these rails.
It's just the camera angles is another aspect of like video pinball that this game really utilizes. The fact that like as you go around the board, you tilt and you turn to twist the camera, but what's so special about this game is that we've played a lot of other video pinball games. Certainly, CDI Pinball was one of them, and that was an awful experience. But we also played was it Kutenkai?
Q-Tenkai, fantastic pinball.
Yes, fantastic pinball from Technosoft.
Oh my gosh, I can't do that part. I just can't do it. It's just, oh.
But anyways, fantastic pinball was that's a 2D pinball game on Saturn PlayStation, which I couldn't. We were
Technosoft.
playing it, and I just couldn't play it because there's way too much going on. And I was telling you, like, man, I can't keep track of the ball. Like,
Yeah,
there
it's
is
too
way too much
fast.
animation and just like activity on the board. You never get the sense of losing track of the ball in this game. Like, you're always hyper focused, and the game, never takes away the clarity. And that's pretty amazing considering how much stuff is going on these boards. So you're back here trying to hit the tree.
Yep.
To be fair, it is very difficult when you have lag. Like,
Oh.
probably...
And I'm not an expert at this game either. It's very difficult.
Oh my god.
Ready. Hit all bumpers that have a yellow triangle plate.
I have the feeling, though, if we talk to anyone who worked on this game, that they would have very fond memories of working on this.
I think you're right. I suspect so. This looks like a game they probably had a lot of fun making.
Yeah, just...
And it
feels
probably
like-
made the testers go crazy too. Just
Yeah,
because
probably.
of the challenge level.
Oh,
look at that.
ah, he did it.
But I just
That's
activated multi-ball mode. And now I have to figure out what to do from here.
So, well, I'm sure you will. But yeah, it feels like a game where everyone had input, and it was just like, your craziest idea, come with them. Anything goes. And, I mean, what an ideal situation for a video game, right?
Oh look, the balls are lodged in there. Uh-oh, there they go.
No. This was always my nightmare in real pinball, this multi-ball. I'm not good at keeping track of...
No, I can't do it either. If I jostle the table, those balls will come loose. But I don't want to do that just yet. Oh
yeah,
no.
so you can tilt the table.
Oh,
in this.
there we go. I broke them loose. Oh, see, as soon as you lose the multi-balls, the danger approaches. Let me go back to the butterflies then.
Well, that's always a good place to be.
That have a yellow triangle plate. Slot chains. Hit the yellow UFO to get an extra credit. Hit all bumpers with the ball to call butterflies. Hit all bumpers with the ball to call butterflies. Hit all bumpers with the ball to call butterflies.
Yes.
You did it.
Finally. Let's see what happens. Oh, is this...
By the way, you're using the retro tank, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It looks amazing.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. So now we trigger the Ice Age.
There we go. So now it's the Ice Age. Parts of the board are now frozen. Look at
And
this.
here we go.
This is, oh no, I didn't want to go that way. Although I could just let it fall down.
Yeah.
Now this
Back
part,
here.
the chance of being able to do this on stream, it's very, very low. But we have to climb. Oh, first I actually have to break open the waterfall.
Yes. So you have to get them up on that ramp. Now, this is a new area now.
Ready.
There you go.
So there we go.
Yeah, so you can see how dynamically this changes, right? Like now we're suddenly... The physics remain the same,
There
but
we go.
we're using it completely differently.
Wonderful.
Broke open the waterfall here.
I love this so much. And when we did this the first time, we were tag teaming
know.
this,
Yeah.
and it was an experience.
So now comes the hardest part, actually getting up that waterfall.
Yeah,
This is brutal.
but I love this part so much. Yes, so look at this.
So the
So
ball
it's almost
moves
like a
extra
pachinko
quick.
now.
Yeah, because it's since it's stacked vertically, they actually apply the physics to the ball as if it is falling vertically like that, and
Yeah.
woof. Oh, come on.
There you go. Oh man, this will be impossible to flag though, don't you think?
Possibly.
But it's so much fun. This looks simple. It really isn't, but this is some of the most fun I ever had with a video game. Is this part you're playing right now? in my entire life.
This part is insane, isn't it?
It was so unique.
So you have to... Oh no, messed that up. Nope.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Fall back down.
get back up.
Whew. Almost hold your breath when you hit that.
Oh man, when we were playing this the
Oh.
first time, we were... the excitement of this was something. But yeah,
It's palpable.
speaking of excitement, I mean, the cover art for this game between regions, especially Japanese one, it's
Oh my
generally
goodness.
simple. But I will have to say that the Japanese... I have the Japanese copy, you have the US one.
Yep.
The Japanese one is just perfection.
I wish you had it
terms of
handy
design.
because I can't remember specifically the way it's written, but it's very entertaining.
Oh, it's Flipnic is an enjoyable, simple action, amazing pinball game for you. That's
Oh,
it. That's the cover. And it really is poetic, isn't it?
truly it is.
So what kind of video pinballs did you play then? Like,
Epic Pinball, Pinball Fantasies,
yeah, of course, Dice,
stuff like that.
Revenge of Gator.
Oh, Revenge of the Gator from HAL. That's one of my favorites, actually.
It's a Game Boy game.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I really
so-
enjoyed, I mean, video pinball, the fact that you can kind of go beyond a real life board, but at the same time, it really does have to stay within the constraints of real life physics of pinball, at least. The ball has to feel good, and, you know, the board can't be completely nonsensical. I mean, by the time this game came out too, I think at that time, it was probably not the high point of pinball board productions.
No, for sure not.
2006 was a pretty dire year, I think, for arcades. And, you know, this was before the barcade revolution. And I remember there was also a shortage at some point in the 2000s for maintenance, because pinball board game, like real pinball tables, are notoriously difficult to do maintenance on, and people by nature will treat them pretty hard. You know, you're tilting them,
Yeah,
you're hitting
exactly.
them,
Exactly.
and the springs will go bad, and so it's like a baby. You have to really take care of it and do maintenance often. I think now we're finally back to a time where the barcades and nostalgia has made it
Kinda,
so.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of brought it back, and there's a lot more of them out there, and people are investing time into learning how to work on them.
Yeah, and then also people are making new boards. That's
Okay. let's show some other stages because
Sure.
I'm not sure I'm going to make it to the top of that one.
Well, you got to show it off, which is the important part. But yeah,
This game is tough, so I am going to save. So this is one of the best parts about it, though, is that it actually does save your progress.
all your progress.
So as you complete these different missions, so obviously though, as you I complete this, then it unlocks these other parts of the stage, which I can't play yet, but you can go in here and play around with the other stages. What does free play have? Oh, you can actually, what is this biology B?
Let's check it out.
So I think it's still the same.
Just with probably more.
Or maybe not. This might be that other section. I forget.
We'll find out quick.
Here we go. Oh, yes.
The drop of silver approaches the stage.
Drop of silver approaches the stage.
How wonderful.
How beautiful.
Have a fantastic time.
Certainly.
Okay. Oh, it's at night. That's right.
It's at night now, so it's harder to see. Alright.
Hit all bumpers.
But it does show you how dynamic the lighting and color usage in the game is. So,
Yeah, that's cool, actually.
yeah.
It's reversed, too. See?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's a mirror.
That's kind of interesting at this time in pinball. I'm not a pinball historian so much, but there's a documentary called Tilt, which kind of goes through this. There was a concept made called Pinball 2000 from, I think from Williams, but I might be wrong.
Oh, yeah. I think that's right.
And Pinball 2000 was supposed to be a combination of traditional pinball table and then with video projection, so it could dynamically generate new bumpers and what's it called, modifiers and obstacles on the board, which was digitally generated. It was an amazing concept, way ahead of its time, but it was too expensive. And there was 2 boards released for that, so it did come out, but just pinball wasn't it. By 2003 I think it came out. But this game I think takes a lot of inspiration from that concept, because there's a lot of Pinball 2000 in this game. So this kind of continues a lot of the concepts that I think we would have seen in real Pinball 2000 boards had it gone further. So I really suggest, if you're into pinball, watch Tilt. It's a very interesting documentary about just pinball's rise and fall, and it's a little bit too old to kind of get the resurgence in there, unfortunately. I would love to see like a Tilt 2 where they actually can talk about the rebirth of pinball and barcades.
So yeah, this is I just went ahead and opened up the score attack on the second stage here, just to showcase a different area. It looks like I'm going right back to this weird grid section. But this, I love this kind of structure, and there's a surprising amount of geometry density in this, I feel like, for a game of this era. Like, everything is really nicely modeled. There's a ton of detail in this.
You never lose track. It's clean, good design.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Here we go. Like a shooter bumper, like a boss fight.
Aim for the crab babies that just
Aim for the crab babies.
start multi-ball mode.
Oh, I fell.
Ready.
Oh, he's still here, so.
Wait, what does this do? Aim for the
Takes
crab
to
babies.
Other crab babies.
What a trip. I love
I
this
just
game.
love the creativity in this. I would love to just work on a game like this at some capacity and just come up with these crazy ideas.
Hit them to start multi-ball mode.
So I hit the crab babies to start multi-ball mode. Oh no!
Ready.
There hasn't really been in the HD era. There hasn't been much in the way of video pinball. I mean,
Well, most of
there's
it's
been
focused
the
on
replication
replicating
boards.
tables. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But they haven't done these kind of fun adventure pinballs. Like, you know, like I always love. I don't think it plays great, but I always love the concept of Sonic Spinball,
right.
even though it's not super well executed. I would love to see something like that. You know, the Naxat stuff is great, and then of course games like this.
Yeah, Jackie Crush and Devil Crush and
Yeah,
amazing music in those. And yeah, because the replication board thingies, I forget what it's called. Is it Pinball FX or is that something else?
FX Pinball. There
It's,
might be that.
we're not huge into the genre, so people in the comments, take it easy.
Oh.
You know what we mean. I love the work because I remember watching like YouTube videos about just the dedication of like scanning the objects in 3D and getting everything perfect and getting like the actual licenses done, which is very difficult. I remember, I think Adam's Family is still like the most profitable board, and it took a long
Really?
time for the license for that to be like
That's
figured out.
completely wild.
Yeah. So I love that work, but for me,
No.
video pinball is about going beyond those boards. So I would love to see like a PS5 or Series X or whatever, but like something like Flipnic here, where you just like make use of the video game medium to the advantage.
Oh, there I go. Game over. Let's try the
This
next
wonderful like
board.
filtered video. These
game is
videos
so wild, I love
are
it.
amazing. Like the presentation of them is just phenomenal. There's like hundreds of them.
The fourth stage, which we'll look at last, is super weird. It's completely different from
Yeah.
the rest of the game. Oh yeah, this stage is beautiful.
I love this stage, yeah, because it has like that Tron look, but it also has this like
Already?
tunnel.
Dang.
The tunnel with the physics in this is
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool. I love how that's applied. And again, the challenge is something which you could never do in a real pinball table, but here it works perfectly.
Wonderful. Point of no return.
Shoot the rings and collect all colors. The colors of the rings change each time a ball hits a bumper.
Yeah, I was talking to in preparation of doing this in last minute preparations because we picked this on a
On a
whim.
whim. Yeah.
But we just wanted to showcase some cool PS2 stuff with the Tink now finally out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was talking to a friend of the show, Joe Modeleski from Limited Run Games.
Oh yeah.
And he's built his own arcade in his garage, much to his wife's enjoyment, I'm sure.
No doubt.
But he has like the NBA Jam cabinet and lots of cool stuff. If you go on his Twitter, you'll see some pictures of it. But we were talking about pinball a little bit, and he mentioned that also a friend of the show, At Games, that company, which I think we could say without any issue of saying so. I think a little bit dubious in quality for the most part.
Yeah,
they-
many of their products have been proven rather dubious, to say the
Yes.
least.
In fair testing, I'm sure they're not
Absolutely.
very nice people.
Oh yeah, that's not in question. It's just that the products they release are not great.
Yeah.
At least the ones I've tested.
Yes,
There's Mega Drive clones, especially, are atrocious.
yes. Let's just say they're very bad. But he was mentioning that, despite that, they at Games released something called like the Legendary Pinball, or it was some kind of name like that, and it's actually a like long video board that you can set up and put pinball table values on, so that like if you have the layouts for pinball tables, it replicates it in digital form.
Pinball simulator kind of thing.
Yeah, and I was very curious about like, well, is this any good? Because I've heard about this. There's also like Pinball Mame and all these things.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, but this was a brand new one, and he said that like it was amazing. He couldn't believe the quality of it considering it's at Games. So I would be very curious to try that out, because I mean, if that's a good solution and you can get some cool pinball action digitally that way that feels authentic, I mean, that's an amazing product. I mean, if you can have many pinball tables in one table, I mean, this sounds like a dream come true.
Absolutely,
for pinball enthusiasts. So
for sure,
it seems like a market that it could be very emerging. I never thought about it that much, but I mean, the concept of having all-in-one for pinball in a proper table, I mean, incredible.
I would like to see them do like proper haptics on that, so you can actually feel like, have the sensation of the ball smacking against the glass or something, or the different pieces
maybe
of the
it
table.
Does. I mean, for all I know, maybe it already does. We'd be very, if anyone watching this has that, leave a comment and tell us, because I mean, we would love to know, and maybe one day, at least get to try it out.
So here we go. This is the last stage.
Yeah,
one
this is crazy. This is like Breakout.
Finding a new path. Hit all keys but the ball.
I'm not much of a Breakout guy. I remember playing Arkanoid a
What
lot.
about Breakout? Super Breakout.
Yeah. The
No, I
only
know.
one I really played was Arkanoid. I played Arkanoid a lot. Arkanoid: The Revenge of Dole. And then I think there was one on Super Nintendo eventually of Arkanoid
Yeah.
that I played a lot as well. And then recently I worked a little bit on a game called Space Invaders versus Arkanoid prior
Wait,
to
really? You
joining
worked
AF.
on that?
Hmm?
Who published that?
That was Taito.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was during my stint working on Taito stuff. And
okay.
that was actually quite... it was a very interesting mashup and very well done, I should say. So it was kind of fun to see Space
Oh,
Invaders
right,
and
yeah.
Arkanoid.
I like that idea. Space
Yeah.
Invaders plus Organoid.
So, and there was a lot of other cameos in that game too. You can like unlock the bubble dragons, and it's so much stuff in that game. So
Makes sense.
I think.
Oh no! What do I do?
That was
Oh,
quite the free fall.
My paddles were just in the wrong spot all the way around.
See, that brings up, when you say paddle, did you ever, in any circumstance, on any console, did you have a paddle controller?
Well, for the Atari 2600.
Yes, okay. I had one for the Commodore. I had the little paddle thing. I hate playing with paddles.
Oh, I have the Atari Jaguar one.
Oh,
with
well, I like
the
that
rotary
one.
dial.
Yes, that's a rotary, and it's very well manufactured. Let's just say that from our friend Nick. So
I mean, paddle's kind of the same thing, right? It's just
it depends. So the one for at least the ones I had on Commodore was quite bad. It was not very, it was very stiff. It didn't really feel analog. And then I got Arkanoid 2 on Famicom a few years ago that comes with a paddle controller, and so I tried that out, and that one is also quite bad. But reviews said that it was bad, so that's fine. And then I don't know what was kind of the last time we got a paddle controller. The Arkanoid DS came with one that you
been a
put
while,
into the
yeah.
GBA slot.
Oh, I don't remember that one too well, but yeah, it's been a while since we've had any good paddle controllers.
Yeah.
I mean, Namco had that one for the PlayStation,
Right. Yeah.
which was pretty cool. Since they made peripherals for everything.
Right. I know some of the arcade stick devices that come out these days, for example from At Games, but also others. I've seen that a lot of them have the trackball on them. I'm guessing because some of them have Marble Madness on them. But the trackball was another thing. I just couldn't. I guess I'm just not good at those kinds of controls. But yeah, the trackball was also another thing where whenever I had to play with that, I was like, I'm much better with a D-pad, man. So.
Oh, come on.
I think my point with all that was that I kind of miss that kind of experimentation with controllers, because nowadays I think when we make new controllers, it's generally like elite. It's about creating like this ultimate comfort and customization.
That's right.
But I kind of miss the discovery of like these, let's use the word bespoke. These bespoke controllers for specific game experiences. Of course, you can't use it on any other game. Well, you probably could, because you can use the fishing controller for Dreamcast on Soul Calibur. So I guess you can find ways of using them. But a proper fish controller. Where's the fish controller for PS5?
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. I wanna get a bass game and play it with like a proper.
My possibilities have expanded, as it says. Oh
Yes.
wait, no, it's right back here again.
The game is very inspirational. Apply
Wow.
everything you learn in Flipnic to your real life, and you will have success. Guaranteed.
I'm starting to enter a trance-like state of playing this game.
As we should.
It does that to you.
Yeah, that was how we were when we played this together at your place. Eventually,
Yeah, exactly.
we were super excited, and then we got into this place where none of us were really saying much, but I think we were saying a lot to each other just in presence. Just like, the words were no longer necessary. We had
It's a
moved
magical
on.
experience.
Yeah. So.
There we go. Oh boy. But we should probably snap out of the magical experience and wind this bad boy to a close.
Yes.
Because yeah, this is if left unchecked, I would keep on going for sure. Because it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Also, I did the space warp, so choo choo multi-ball. Didn't do that yet.
And Galaxy Tennis.
Galaxy Tennis.
Sounds exciting. I hope by doing this, more people will pick this up. I think one of the lost experiences from the PS2 era.
Absolutely. It's not a terribly expensive game, and you can also emulate if you choose. I think it works in PC SX2.
Oh.
Which is good. But yeah, it's absolutely worth playing. I think it's a really fun, fascinating game. It's challenging, depending on how good at pinball you might be, but it's definitely worth checking out. And yeah, so I'll let the staff roll go. But yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for now. I'm now in this, like, I feel like I'm struggling to come back to the material plane now after diving into this. But here we are.
You have to come back to Earth, John.
I must come down. But thank you for joining me for this Audi as I struggled my way through the world of pinball.
Oh, anytime for Flipnic.
And hopefully everybody watching actually enjoyed it. And if you made it this far, be sure to let us know. Let us know if you have any experiences playing Flipnic, if any memories of it. We'd love to hear about it. It's a fun game to discuss. But
And
yeah,
memories of pinball.
memories of pinball as well.
Yeah.
But for now, that's going to do it. So we'll see you next time.